Okay, welcome officially to your team call tonight, you guys. Thank you all for being on. I'm really, really excited about this team call because I have some announcements, some incentives for you guys, and you are going to hear from somebody other than me, which I'm really excited about. We will get to this in a second, but I have asked Amber to talk about how she and her team got to director. And I have asked Julie, Marissa, and Katie to speak just for a few minutes about how they all earn their first star bonuses. I think like everybody who has come in and hit success, like I want you to hear from them. And I think it's important as a team that we kind of pull ideas from each other. Okay, so we will circle back to that in 1 second. You guys probably saw in the team page, we are going to be hosting some power hours. So Jamie, myself, Sammy, and Danny Detra, we were trying to put our heads together with like, what can we do for our team that is outside of Melanie Mitro, that is outside of Sarah Robbins? How can we help our teams and create systems for ourselves? And so one of the first ideas that we had was let's bring back power hours. Which if you were with me for the body side of things, it taught me like everything, like on how to work. Like that's how I hit like Success Club 10 to 40 for 4.5 years in a row, like every single month, like power hours, learning from other leaders, learning from people that was different to me, new ideas. So what do you do? Good idea during a power hour. So what is a power hour? A power hour is a guided work session. Okay. So you log in to Zoom, and somebody will be walking you through what to do. It's like, what does it look like to work Shackley? Okay. How are you supposed to be inviting? Here's some new ideas. How are you supposed to be connecting with new people on social media? Here are some ideas. How should you be following up? Here are some new ideas. What could you be posting about? Have you invited to the business? Have you done a business post? So we just came up with like the first 2 weeks just to take us into January. So a lot of us on this team, outside of this team, but especially on this team, we are working towards either locking in director or we're in qualifications as an entire team for a goal, right? For a rank. Um, and so how do we fill our circles, all of us working together? And how can we how can we do that before 11:56 at midnight or midnight on the last day of the month? So power hours was one idea. Now, on the other side of things, Melanie, you guys know her big brain is so, we appreciate it so much. And if you were around for the holiday extravaganza, it was awesome, right? Like we had orders coming out the wazoo, and so we are doing another one. I don't know the details of it. The directors on this team will be getting on a director call with her tomorrow at 9 a.m. and she's going to be announcing it at that time. So I'll have much more information for you guys about what that's going to look like. But I think it's going to be awesome because I think it's going to be like mid-month. But so you'll be able to invite to that. That will help fill your circles. That will help you get to your first Star Club bonus. Now, if you're wanting to get to Star Club and earn a bonus this month, you need to talk to new people. Do not continue to circle back to the same people who continue to buy from you. Your goal is going to be 110% talking to new people. Okay. And so that's what I hope that you will get out of these power hours. And so some incentives. So you guys probably saw on at the bottom, the bonus incentive is a call with Steve Innes. So if you guys know who Steve Innes is, I know the directors on our team, and I think Ange got on for that call as well, had the privilege of meeting with him. And you guys, he has not met with any other team, any other Shackley team, not Sammy's team, not not Danny's team, not anybody's team. And it is a privilege to work with him because he is so insanely smart and he knows finances and he knows how to help you make money and he can like I literally have a a note in my Google Keep called INNIS mentorship because between him and Jamie, I learned so much. And so I think it's important for everybody on this call to get on a call with Steve. Okay, not just the directors. Like, obviously, I want to reward the top leaders on this team, but if you're somebody who has huge goals and you're putting in the work, I want you on there. So, first thing, if you're not in the healthy hustle chat, you need to be in there and you need to be following along. You need to be doing the assignments, okay? The incentive for earning a call with Steve is hitting Star Club by the 10th. So you're going to get a call with him. That means you have 3 days to get $500 in sales. That is why it is so important for the people who earned a Star Club bonus to talk to you guys tonight because it is absolutely doable. You could do it in 1 day. Okay. Whether you're launching hormone health, that group is freaking amazing. Okay. Whether you're launching the skincare group, the youth line skincare products are freaking amazing, right? But what does that mean? You have to be inviting. You have to be talking to people. You have to be talking to new people. If you're brand new, how freaking lucky. Because everybody is brand new to you. You don't have a warm market who's already bought from you. Anybody. You can invite literally anybody. But if you keep your mouth shut and you don't want to talk or you invite, you're not going to get there. So, just a reminder, if you're brand new, what is Star Club? It is your first $500 in sales. Okay. That gets you an extra $75 bonus. So for that first $500 that you're making, you get $225 back in your pocket as a commission. Okay. So it's a pretty sweet deal. So hit Star Club by the 10th, earn a group call, hit director by end of the month or hit director again. So if you already hit director, you don't qualify, you have to hit it again, right? Because we're holding this rank now. Then you're going to get a mentorship call. And I don't know if this is supposed to be a surprise or not, but we have asked Kim Carver to come talk. And if you guys know who that is, he is amazing. He works for Shackley Corporate. And we're trying to get like a corporate mentor to come talk. So if you guys have big goals, just know that like the training that you will earn at the end for reaching those goals is going to skyrocket you above where you want it to be, right? Because director isn't the end goal. That's the starting goal, right? So you want to have a lucrative business, that's the starting goal. Okay. Please, please, please pay attention to the team page. Check it daily. Check it before you go to bed. Check it at least once a day because I am really trying to be diligent about making sure I keep up on things in there. And the team page, the big one, the black banner one, is so huge. And I know there's a lot of people in here who pull a lot of really good stuff. And sometimes I miss stuff. So if you guys see something important, drop it on the team page, okay? I am trying to share Melanie's prompts for inviting to the business. I think those are awesome. So there's like 3 days worth of like business posts that you can use as prompts to help you. Use them. Okay. Inviting to the business is huge. And all of our event calls will be pulled from the main, like the big team page and put into our team page. Power hour information will be in there. There will be lives in there, conversation flows in there, recognition in there. So make sure that you guys are checking it. If you're not checking it, but once a week, then you go check it, you're going to be overwhelmed. Okay. So make that a priority. Okay. So let's start with Marissa. I want to hear from you. You are somebody who came over from Body, and I mean, just quite frankly, you are having much more success with Shackley than you did with Body, and I think also just having more fun. So I would love for you to share with people just like your main takeaways from last month on how you hit a Star Club bonus, like your top tips and recommendations.
My top tips and recommendations. Oh God. Okay. I think that a lot of it had to do with one that I'm like sharing genuinely. Like when I was with Body, like I shared the workouts because I was like, yeah, I want to make some money. Um, but a lot of people already have workout routines and body just gave people the ick. So it's nice to show up in my stories and like on my posts and like share genuinely about these products. I've been like on a wellness journey for like 5 years or so. Um, After my second daughter, I like lost myself and like workouts kind of brought me back to life. So I have been, more aware of like what I'm putting in my body and how much like exercise helps. I also just recovered from a pretty major surgery. And now the focus is also like, you just have to think of what you put on your body goes in your body. I remember hearing that in one of the first meetings, and I was like, that just hit hard with me because I mean, it's important. So it's nice to be able to like show up in my stories every day with things that like I'm actually using regularly because they are working and they make me feel better. And I remember in one of the meetings, one of the women said that you have to pick staples and share those all of the time. Um, so the products that I'm literally obsessed with, I share about every single day.
Which are
Um,
which products? Which are yours?
the Pomifera rose oil, which has totally changed my face. The collagen, which in literally a week, I noticed a difference in my hair. Um, and I am using the cleaning products too, which are awesome. I really, especially like at the end of last year, I was like, I have to get like all toxic things out of this house. Like I was feeding my kids over processed food. They were constantly getting sick. So I thought, okay, they have vitamins. I'm going to start giving them the vitamins. Um, so I share about the Meology kids a lot too, because those vitamins are fun.
Mhm.
Like they come in a personalized box with their name. Like that's fun for kids, I think. And then I take the vitalizer vitamins. So I share those almost daily too. And I think that's really what made me hit Star Club is constantly sharing the things or getting that first bonus is constantly sharing the things that I use regularly
So
because then people think,
were you doing a lot of like sharing in your stories and sharing links?
yeah, I'm a story girl.
Okay.
I am better at stories. You know how you like when you scroll, you don't watch people's stories?
Hmm.
That's literally what I do when I scroll. I just watch people's stories. So yeah, I share what I'm using and then I link it. And I try to make it different like each time, but always put in like, and instead of like linking my collagen, I'll just put like Miracle Grow. Like I get, kind of creative with
Right, you
it
don't want to say
because
the name. So,
yeah.
genuine excitement, genuine sharing, actually just day-to-day things that are working for
Hmm.
you as a mom and a human, just on this recovery journey of yours. What goes on your body goes in your body. You're sharing how it impacts the kids and the changes, like the swaps, and then just like your staples.
Hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay, I'm taking notes because I'm learning from all of you. Okay. Julie, I would love to hear from you, girl.
Okay, perfect. Hello. So I'm kind of like a hybrid when it comes to being a part of Shackley. So I was a part of Body for a while, actually, like early-ish teens 2000. I was a part of a team, dropped off, and then I was back on it. But I also had been in Herbalife for 6 years. So I'm all about the MLMs and knowing everything of that nature. But what was has been different about Shackley and hitting um, the bonus is one. I'll be honest, this is probably the first time I've ever hit a bonus in anything that I've done, and it was. I don't want to say it was easy, but like Marissa said, it like just naturally came. So the hormone health group has been kind of the vehicle that I chose. Well, not chose, but the vehicle that had really taken off for me because it's a journey that I've been on. And being able to have something that one, I know that I need to be on and doing, but I also know that I'm of the age of other women who are probably having the same or similar issues or things that they need to work on. So I was just honest with everyone that had showed interest or people that I thought of that I've had conversations in the past with that I know have brought up their like hormone health or gut health or whatever it was. Um, it was just kind of like one of those light bulbs of like, okay, I'm going to go talk to this person, and I'm going to put it in my group. I didn't necessarily do stories. I didn't necessarily do like posting on my personal page. It was in
Okay.
my group.
Okay.
So I have a wellness group. And for that, I feel like in there, because I set it as private, um, I I'll share it out onto my personal page of like, hey, if you want to be a part of my group, they can add themselves. Most of the time, it's women anyways. Men aren't really interested in that, but I would just kick them out if they were in there anyways. But I feel like I can be more honest in a closed group like that, knowing the people that were in there are there because either they followed me for Herbalife, they followed me on Body,
Mhm.
um, they're they're still there and know I'm doing Shackley. So I've gone in and just was open, told them what was available, kind of what was going on, and then I put a poll up in my group of um, it was asking them what would be kind of like the number one thing that they're looking for in my group. So kind of giving them a little skin in the game of seeing, hey, if you tell me what you'd like to see, I can start focusing on that. And the majority of it was hormone health. And so
Wow.
anyone that had clicked that answer, I went straight into the messages with them. Just, hey, thanks for doing the poll in my group. Like, I see you're interested in this. I'd love to like help you along the journey. Like, what are you kind of looking for?
Mhm.
And then once they come back of, telling me kind of what they're wanting, I then go and do a voice text to them. Actually, I voice message, mainly because I feel like my story is pretty positive or pretty powerful when it comes to the reasoning why I'm wanting to do it. And it also opens up, I feel like, that vulnerability door for them to be able to open up to me of kind of what they're looking for. Because it can be a little scary sometimes where
Yeah.
women are like, I don't really want to talk about my hormones and I'm sweating my ass off all the time. And,
Yeah.
it's not sexy. So,
Yeah.
but I really felt like that was what drew them in.
Yeah.
So it was just going on and being real with them of like, this is what I
Yeah.
struggle with. These are the symptoms I have. Can you relate to any of those symptoms? And they were coming back of like, yes, I can. And then they're like, send me the link.
Okay. I'd
And
like to point out two things that I'm hearing you say that I think are so important, if that's okay.
yeah, go ahead.
First of all, the poll, great idea. Because
Mhm.
even if hormone health isn't your main vehicle, as Julie called it, which is a perfect way to put that, you could put a poll in your group that says like, because we have all these groups going on, nutritional, like starting over nutritionally or healthy habits, nutritional healthy habits, skincare, hormone health, or increasing my protein, just like whatever kind of groups you want to invite to, and then without saying like skincare group, hormone health group, nutritional 5-day reset, like
Mhm.
just topics. I think that's such a good idea. And then the second thing that both you and Marissa talked about is you shared a personal journey. So you
Mhm.
shared what are these products doing to solve problems for you?
Mhm.
And I think that that is so important. because if you're excited about a product, in my opinion, it's like, oh, like I love the good gut and go or something. Like it definitely makes me feel great. But if you talk about I have terrible stomach aches, I have, this, or like your experience with your hormone journey has been intensive.
Hmm.
That solves a problem for you. And I think people can relate to that because that's a real life problem for a woman.
Hmm. Definitely. And I think just the first conversation that I had, it was my cousin. And then that just kind of, it opened up for me, opened up the floodgates of taking away the fear of asking people and presenting to people. Because honestly, that holds me back a lot. I don't want to be the salesy person or whatever it is, but I essentially went from my cousin to her sister and said, "Hey, your sister and I are going to do this. Do you want to do it with me?" And just kind of talk through like what I'm experiencing. She's probably heard what her sister is experiencing, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm on the same journey. Like, yes, send me your cart."
Yes.
Then I
I
went
love
out to
that.
my next cousin, and then I went out to one of my girls that has been a customer, and regardless of wherever I go, and she's recently talked about how she needs to get on a good vitamin, and she's been having gut issues. So I was like, hey, maybe this would be great. And just in that conversation, she's like, well, I'm struggling with PCOS. Like, this would be amazing. And so it was just kind of that starting with one person and just kind of going from there and being open and honest and be vulnerable. Um, but yeah, that was what got me to that first star.
I love that. And how many different people did you sell to?
I had three different new people that I had sold to.
And okay, so that's all it could take.
Yep. And I
Three
did
people.
have a reorder of a customer um from like the early time, and it was within that window still. So it
So you
probably,
commissioned, but not
yeah.
Star Club. Okay. So
Yep.
if you're new here, Star Club, you need three new people each month. So your $500 in sales cannot come from existing customers. They have to come from new people. That's why it's important if you want to make bonuses every week to continue to talk to new people.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Julie, so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Katie, who is on team Hyperdrive. Am I saying that right? Hyperdrive under
Yep.
Courtney. Hey, your first star bonus. So tell us what you did.
Okay. I have notes over to the side because
Okay,
I
good.
will
We
forget
love notes. I'm
everything
taking
that
notes.
I'm about to say if I don't have notes.
Okay.
If I'm not looking at the screen, that's why. Um, all right, so I'll kind of just start where I start in like the process, which is sharing through my stories. I'm not really like a post person. I do not write good posts. But I'm
Yes.
in my stories like all the time. Um, I do stay at home, but I work full time. Well, I try to work full time. Also have my 16-month-old with me all the time at home. So I have lots of breaks during the day where I can just stop and get on my story really quick and do, something. Try to put them up several times a day, like in the morning, during lunch, in the afternoon. So try to be always having like if someone who is watching my stories gets on Instagram, they're gonna see me at the top in their bubble, like that I have a new story so that they're clicking on it to see that I'm there and I'm showing up. Um so when I first got my shipment, everybody knew that I was with Body, like I drink Energize, all those things. I was sharing my Energize every morning anyways. So I first told them that I was going to be making some swaps. And then I offered a few samples. So I think I only did like three. I was like, I got some new stuff. I'm trying it. If you would like to try it because you are looking for a new pre-workout or whatever, I have three to share. So the first three people who DM me this word get those. And I did have several people, probably sent out at least five to new people. And those were my first customers because they were all people that were using Body Energize. And I'm
Wow.
sharing, I mean, I noticed a difference in the Shackley pre-workout in like 3 days probably. That I wasn't getting my like afternoon crash. So I was immediately sharing those things that I was finding that I liked better about my new products, and then the good gut and go. So those two became my like staple AM. Like I'm on my story every single morning at 6 o'clock, taking my Energize and my gut and go, and I'm sharing those every single day. So each time I've gotten a new box of those, I've offered like 3 more samples because they're continuing to see me use them,
I
but I
love that.
don't want to give away my whole box. So I just offer like 3 at a
Yeah,
time. And then I
love
started
that.
doing the same with my rest and rewind tea, basically just letting moms know that it is a thing that you can actually sleep when you have children. You just have to drink this tea before you go to bed, and you won't feel like crap the next morning. So I just kind of, tried to like hit my people, like my moms, like, hey, this is for you. If you're a mom and your kids don't sleep, or if you're a mom and your kids do sleep, but you don't sleep, like you need this. Like I have 3 samples
I love that.
if you
That's
want to
such a
try
good
it.
idea.
So that's kind of where I started. Um, and then I always try to take a screenshot when I go live in my free group, put that on my stories to let them know, hey, I have a free group. I go live in there, I share resources, information, stuff like that. Get in there so that you don't miss anything that I'm not sharing over on my stories. So I do that every time that I go live in there. And then once they do join my free group, I send them a Google form to ask for their name, email, what their goals are, what things they're interested in, like skincare, wellness, green home. Like I specifically asked them for those things, so that I can direct message them and start a conversation with them.
I love that because I think all of us have been taught to have those questions as a requirement to get in. So people very often will click the link to join and then be like, I don't have time to think about my goals right now. And then they just back out. So I love that idea of sending a form after the fact. Now they're in, like, right. They don't have to do the form to get in, but it's like, okay, now when I can take a second and think about it, I can tell you about it. I love
Yeah. Yeah. And if
such a good
people
idea.
if people do join without like answering the questions, I just send them a message and I'm like, "Hey, thanks for joining. If you could just take a couple minutes to fill out this form so that, we can get acquainted and I can figure out how I can serve you." And also the answers to those questions disappeared, which I like at first I set it up to ask for their email and then I was like, well, where did it go? Now
Yeah.
I don't have it. I approved them and now I don't have their email. So I decided to just do a form so that
You
I
mean
have,
when you do it as like a prerequisite to get in?
yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
okay. Good to
Um,
know.
yeah, that was like the first question that I asked like Heather and Courtney. I was like, well, where are the responses going? Like just
Yeah,
into the
where did
abyss. I stopped doing that and I just asked like a general question, like what are you interested in here or something.
good to know.
Something that I can just look at really quickly.
Yeah.
So after all that, my biggest thing to say would just be follow up with people. I know we all get to like ghosted first invites with people. So follow up, follow up, follow up. Um, in December specifically, I had about 6 people that I was having like really strong conversations with, that I knew like wanted to get started on something. And then with the free shipping, I was messaging those new people that I was talking to and being like, hey, you can get $40 off of your first order because you can get free shipping. That's $10. You can get $10 off from my code that I can send you, and then you get a free membership and that's $20. So
I love
just
how you put it like that.
yeah, I was like, we don't need to just do any of that. You're gonna save $40 because it even tells you that at the bottom of the cart too, which I love.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
great idea.
so anybody that hadn't shopped with me yet, I specifically told them, hey, you can save $40 on your first order by getting in with me. And that was where most of my last orders came from. I think I told you I had
Wow.
250 PV on those last on the last day
Oh,
of
I think it was more than
of the
that.
month.
You were cranking them out.
Um one order was pretty large, but I did have like I think it was about 6 people total
Yeah.
that got me all the way through to the bonus.
Mhm.
And then I did message everybody in my free community like 3 times during the month because they are in my free community. They told me that they were interested by being in there. So I'm just bugging the hell out of them.
Good. Love
Um,
that.
I think I went in there like the first day of the month telling them about the groups I was offering. And then I did a follow-up about a week later. And then once we got to the end of the month, I reminded them all that they could save by doing the free shipping if they needed to do a reorder for anything. I did have several orders from that.
Maybe I should have done this call before the end of the month in December. Because these are such good ideas. I would have used them. But I will absolutely use for January. So, pocket work while working full time with a toddler, sharing swaps. You give out samples to the first 3 people that DM you every time you get a new box. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Um, Sharing the rest and rewind tea with moms because ain't nobody sleeping. Screenshot when you go live. Once they're in your free group, then you're sending a Google form, which I would love to see what that looks like. Um, Follow up with people when we get ghosted, and then bundle up all the savings into one incentive, I think is brilliant. And then message every single person in your free community for reorders as well. I think
Yeah.
that's great. That's so good. Thank you.
You're welcome. And just one more thing that I'm gonna do this month. This is great for like newer people or people who, I guess anybody who joined like really late October will be in this with me. I'm gonna let people know that I only have the $10 off code through the 28th of the month. So after that, then like they don't get $10 off from me anymore. So hopefully that'll boost some people this month for me.
Yeah. So if you're brand new, you have a $10 off code that is in your app and you can send it to somebody. It's like your storefront, but it's automatically connected um to your $10 off code. So they can just fill their cart, it automatically saves them money, and you have that for 90 days from your date of enrollment. So thank you for that. Okay. So, last but not least, Amber. And I asked Amber to talk tonight. You guys know she has hit director 2 months in a row. And I think it is really important to hear from her because she and Amanda have locked arms as a team. So, unlike, Heather, who has a lot of ambassadors, they hit this massive rank locking arms, 2 peas in a pod, till the very freaking end, till 11:56. And I was screaming and crying and cheering them on the whole way, right? We all were. We were all like cheering them on. And so I want to hear from you because I think people have this misconception that in order to hit director, you have to have a big team. And I think you are proof that like you can have a friend or a business partner and just lock arms and get there together, right? You don't need an enormous downline. You don't need, ambassadors that have ambassadors that have ambassadors, right? So I want to hear from you, Amanda, if you want to contribute to your role in all of it as well. You guys are a team, so I would love to hear from you.
All right. So locking in director last month, that was a shit show, but it was exhilarating and exciting.
It was.
Because myself was like, oh, sure, spontaneously the day after Christmas, I'm gonna go to Nashville for a long ass weekend with my girlfriends. And Cass was like, oh, what? I'm like, oh yeah, I'll work the whole time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was working. I did work, but not like I would work at home, right? So then when I came back, it was like, oh fuck. Like, okay, it's go time, it's scramble time. I have until New Year's Eve, right? So I have notes, it's kind of all over the place. So sorry if I bounce all over, but I want to try to keep us on schedule here. So, okay, a lot of it I took from the call that I was on with Steve. So if you guys have not listened to that call, watch that call, go back, find the recording,
It's in the
watch
team
it.
page.
It's in the team. Okay. It will literally change your life forever. I was like, okay, done. When I came back from Nashville and I was like, it's fucking go time, that is all I could hear and see is what Steve is telling us. Okay. So just a few things like, I mean, we've all kind of touched on staying consistent, right? Yes, we have most of us have a wellness group. Go in there every day. Just drop something in there. I love the poll idea. Julie, you mentioned that. Ange, I've seen you've done a poll. Amanda, I've seen you've done a poll in yours as well. So love that, but just get some kind of engagement, right? Stories, right? Be consistent. And I was the same. I'm an avid story. I can do stories all day long, but a post, it's like you're asking me to like dig a 50-foot hole. There's no way. Right? I don't know why. It's not hard, but for some reason it's just like, oh my gosh, right? Like, I don't know. But anywho, so I got consistent. Well, no, that's a lie. I didn't get consistent. I got more consistent with my Facebook posts, right? To draw people to my stories where all of my info actually was. And it was really prioritizing my time in my schedule, right? I had set a goal for myself. I'm hitting director. I need to lock it in for the second month. No ifs, ands, or buts. And I told myself that to prior to going to Nashville. I'm like, okay, you're literally taking such a big risk doing this because this is the end of the month, right? Like, okay, well, that just means you have to work 10 times harder, literally 10 times harder when you get home. And then it's New Year's Eve. And then I forgot I was hosting my whole family here too, right?
Can you talk
It,
about what that looked like for you? Like, what does working 10 times harder look like?
yeah. So it was literally blacking out on my calendar. What is the times? Like, what is the time? What is your goal? How many people do I want to talk to or reach out to? Let's just say like within an hour or a 2-hour block. Like I was like, okay, if this person is answering, fine. I've got, how we used to say like have 10 in play, like I wanted to have a minimum amount of conversations going. Even if every single one of them was telling me no, I still wanted to have a certain amount of conversations in play happening. Right. Um, the big one that I was finding like, okay, like get your big girl pants on is I cannot be afraid to reach out. Right. I know it's hard to like reach out to people, but so what I did for myself, I was like, okay, this is going to break the ice for me. And I can literally probably go invite the president now. I don't care anymore. I'm not afraid to invite anybody. I invited, which I knew she wouldn't respond, wouldn't say anything, but I invited my ex-best friend of like 20 years. We had a massive falling out. And I was like, I haven't talked to her in a couple of years. I was like, I don't care. Send. Like, I'm just, oh. And it's like, I seen she read it and didn't say anything. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like I'm good now, right? Like I can just invite anybody. So it was really just like, I have to do this. And again, Steve is in the back of my mind. And he's like, if you're in business, you can't be scared to talk to people, right? You can't be scared to offer them what you're trying to sell, right? That's the whole point of a business. It is what it is, right? Also, I loved things that I did different is the consistent, definitely bring them on the journey with you. That was a big one. Bring them on a journey with you. I literally felt like my stories were the same exact stories for the full 3 days because I was talking about the same products. I was going through my daily routine so that they could see that I literally do this every single day. Not just, oh, I'm going to pop on my story and try to sell this real quick, right? Like,
Love that.
no, they consistently see every day. Yes, I do my energize and my good gut and go, right? But like I'm big into the skincare because my face is terrible. So it's like I now every morning it's like do my skincare routine, do my makeup routine, go live and do it. I'm going live in my community group, my wellness group, doing my skincare and my makeup routine. Like I'm like, look, this is proof because I get so many people that are like, I don't believe that's only 3 products. There's no way. Right. And I'm like, I don't know how else to prove. So it's like, just here's the proof. This is what it is. Right. I do that. So the big one was like, bring them on the journey, let them know the benefits. How can this help? Um, Then the big one for me, which I was like, okay, I kind of want to get out of my comfort zone a little. I mean, and I know I've talked to you about this, Cass, but when I talked to Jamie and Steve, I was like, okay, I want you guys to critique the crap out of my stuff. Like, we all want to be in this business and be successful, right? So I'm going to go and ask for advice from the successful people. They're clearly doing something right that I'm not doing. So, and they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. So it's like, I'll get messages from Steve or Jamie. And I've told Cass, I'm like, if you see something and you're like, what in the, I'm like, tell me. I'm asking for it because it's only going to make me better. Right. So if you are wanting to get those extra sales, do like reach out to your leader, ask for help. And if they do give you a solution or an option, take it. Right? Don't get offended. They're literally just trying to help, and just take it and run with it because they're successful for a reason. And it was the other one that helped me reach my dollar amount faster to hit director is don't assume their budget. And I know we've talked about this before. Always add in extra products. And like I did that the entire time, and I'm still doing it now. I didn't just stop it last month once I hit director, right? Like I've continued it, and I've gotten so many more sales just from that. And I'm like, oh, you want this? Fine. I'm going to put these 2 extra products. And then I send the cart. And then I like, before they can probably even open it, I send another message. And I'm like, oh, hey, and I added this in because it goes really well with this. And I love it. And it like the whole bundle, it just works good. Like, whatever it is. And they're like, oh, okay. Like, so that was a big one for me too, is don't assume their budget.
Because everybody's broke.
Everybody, yeah. Like, don't. And when they were coming back to me with a price objection, like, oh, that's too much, I'm like, yeah, but it's not really. Right. And like, tell them why it's not. Tell them why these products are worth that. Because if you think about it, they're really not that expensive for the quality.
Yeah.
That, like the quality of the product. So that really helped me like lock in like the director. And like, yeah, I think it's good for everybody to see that you don't have to have a massive team. You have one, like me and Amanda, like we have been in this since day one together, like back in body days. And it's always been us two, like always. Right. And we just do it and we figure it out. And it's like, that's why I love this company is you do not have to have a massive downline.
And I'm assuming constant contact between the two of you.
Yeah, like you have to like stay in and check in, right? Like, and I think this too is like, so this like it's everybody's own business, right? You run it how it is. You're only going to see the reward for the work you put in, right? Like, I don't know. And I feel like that goes back to like New Year's night, 11:56. We locked in director. Amanda was up with me.
What time? 5
a.m. 5 a.m. So I started at 5 a.m. Cass texts me at 6 or something. And you're like, I was like, I've been up too. And she's like, oh, thank God. Like, okay, like let's get going. And Amanda was on it. Like we were just the whole time. Right.
And the whole team, just
the whole entire
everybody on was
entire
amazing.
Team.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm checking in with Amanda. Who are you talking to? This? And she's checking in with me. Okay, how much more do you need? What do we need? What do we need? What about this person? What about that person? And the chat that day was so fun, Katie. It was so fun. But you have to reach out to that cold market. That was too, because I had said, I was like, oh, I wasn't worried like towards the end of the night. I was like, oh, I'll just reach out to one of my current customers who always buys a crap ton of stuff. If I ask her to, it's not even a question. So I was in my head, I was already banking on that, right? Like, oh, we don't need to bank on that because I reached out to her and guess what happened? Crickets. And I'm like, okay. Then I started sweating, right? Like, okay, no, now I need to like reach out. So, oh, sorry, that was kind of all over the place, but
that was great. I took great notes about that.
I don't know. Other thing that sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, the big thing again from Steve is just like don't complain about the money you're not making if you're not putting in work, period. Like he said that to us like right off the bat. And it's like, this is hard. Yeah, right. It's a lot. Most of us on here have kids, have full-time jobs, right? We're tired, we're busy, whatever it may be. But if you want it, you find the time. So I have started now. I've even like tweaked my workouts. Like I'm like, well, I'm struggling to find time in the morning. So I'm like, okay, you're down to just a 20-minute workout. And then I'm walking on my walking pad for an hour, not with the TV on anymore, because that's what I used to do. No, I got myself a walking desk thing and I work for an hour. So then
That's
I can get my
amazing.
movement and my work in at the same time.
All you
Like
walking pad girls, I'm so jealous. I see heat.
it's Amanda does too. I see. Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing. So, yeah, I mean, I just think like that is, and then go back and watch your stories, guys. I did this in those 3 days when I was cramming. I'm like, okay, I need to actually look at what I'm posting. If I were to scroll, if I didn't know myself and I came across my stories, would I actually stay on that page and watch it? Or am I going to go, what the hell, and swipe on by? Honestly, I mean, critique yourself. Critique yourself. How could I have done this better for next time? I'm not saying delete it and redo it all, but how could I do it better the next time? And in all reality, right? Like I feel like everybody has a shit show life at some point, right? It's all crazy. But also, you guys, the reality is that in people's everyday life, it's a shit show, right? They've got kids screaming in the back. They've got a crappy, messy house, or whatever it may be. They go to social media to escape their reality. Honestly, people go to social media to escape their reality. So, do you think somebody is going to be more interested in watching somebody that seems like all their stuff is together, right? Like Steve was trying to explain it. Remember, Cass? And he was like, is somebody gonna like want to see your messy counters all the time and like just a disaster everywhere? Or do they want to what was he saying, Cass? I can't even think
He
of.
was basically saying, like, if you're showing up for the business, show up as a businesswoman and be
Yeah.
like basically presentable, but share the real and the raw behind that, right?
Mhm.
Like, um, if you're sharing that you're doing invites, like sitting outside of a daycare pickup, you can do that. But they want to know that they're joining somebody who's serious about their business. So you have to find the
Yes.
balance between like
Yes.
showing up and being presentable and not like, oh my God, they're so distracted because this person's a slob and like what's in the background. And it's like, but like
Yes.
here and there show, yeah, like I'm Heather Green and I never fold my laundry. I just leave it in piles on the floor and it stresses me out. But then show it once it's folded, right? I'm somebody who gets shit done, right? I have a to-do list and she obviously shares that in our chat with us. And like
No, but I
gets
love that
it
because Heather,
done.
you did.
She
You
gets it
showed that
done.
whole day of like when you got everything
Yeah.
folded, like stuff like that.
And he also said too, he's like, there's a reason Jamie's always going to a coffee shop in a blazer because she treats her business like a business. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
yes, your robe, it's not a blazer. Like you have to do better. So I have to do better. And so I am actually trying to create intentional time outside of the home to get myself done and go work. Like prioritize that time. And I know we're over time, so I want to wrap it up, but there are two things that I just want to say to you really quickly. Um,
That, and I didn't know if Amanda wanted to add in anything really quick.
okay. Okay. So, first of all, I know there's a lot of people on this team who have a huge goal of hitting director. Director is a decision, okay? So, one thing that Steve again said to me, that I think he said it on the call with all the leaders, is you cannot come into this business and say something like, I mean, yeah, I'll try and see how it goes because that's not an intentional business decision. trying and seeing how it goes will get you absolutely nowhere because you will spin your wheels and it's going to take intentional work. Not only intentional work, but like, I'm going to use Angela as an example. Today she put in the chat, she's like, I'm putting in the work. I'm falling short. Where do I go wrong? I immediately got into a chat with her and I have all of her login information and I'm going to be going through all of her conversations because as a team, we will get every single person on this call to where they want to be if they're putting in the work, right? If she were to send me her login and I got in there and there were no conversations, I would say, come back to me when you're putting in the work because I'm not going to waste my time. But it's full of conversations, right? So it's like I have something to look at and I have something to work with. Okay, so do the work. It's not an I'll try situation if your goal is director, right? If you're here as like a call it a hobby coach or a hobby ambassador, like just for fun, that doesn't apply to you because your goals are not the same. Second thing, if you're brand new to this company or new-ish, do not make the same mistake that I did when I first joined Body and wait to invite to the business until you feel like you understand the business. Okay? And the reason I'm saying that is because we have systems in place from Melanie Mitro, who is the absolute freaking guru of systems. There is a lot of power in saying to somebody, I am brand new to this company and I absolutely love it. Do you want to lock arms and learn it with me? There is so much power in that, okay? Like, hey, I'm brand new, but I have huge goals. I know you have huge goals. Or, hey, you're my best friend. We both want this extra income. Let's learn this company together. Let's do this together. Okay, so do not wait to send business invites until you feel like you understand it better or you've watched the compensation plan like 3 different times. Like, every single person on this call knows something different and will help you and help your people because we are all one team. Okay? So those are just my 2 tidbits of advice. Please get on the power hours if you can. And if you can show your face, I would love to take a photo. If
Amanda, did you
you're
want to say
available.
anything after the photo? If people have to jump
Are you
outside,
sure?
but do the photo.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Vanessa and Jen, where are you? There's Jen. Okay. Kristen. Okay, we'll just take it and I'll send it. Okay. Smile. Oh, there's Vanessa. Hi. Okay, cool. Also, don't say anything, you guys, about until you see. I think that we might be announcing this weekend, so we'll see. I know that I'm gonna get hate mail from at least one Heather Green in the near future. But for everyone else, I love you guys all so much.
She had to outdo you, Heather. Now she wants to be the mom of 5, not 4, right?
Actually, I'm secretly working on her getting her tubes untied so that we can do this together. So
Oh, get
it's
it,
fine, it's fine.
Heather.
We've already talked about it. So, okay, everybody have a wonderful Tuesday. It is Tuesday, right? Yes. And I'll see you in the chat. See those bells ringing, okay? Bye, guys. Oh, I didn't stop the recording.